Good morning, Salado Youth families. Thanks for joining us for worship. Hope that you are well and safe wherever you are and whenever you are watching this video. So most people have nativity scenes in their homes, I assume. I had a friend who was an atheist and she still had a nativity scene in her home. They're pretty popular. We have one in our house and it's pretty fancy. And I hate to even really talk about it because I don't want to be a show off or anything, but it's very fancy by this manufacturer, Fisher-Price. And the baby Jesus in our Fisher-Price looks like this. Isn't he the cutest thing you've ever seen? Look at those cheeks. Look at that smile. This is the baby Jesus we often get presented with at Christmas, right? Jesus, meek and mild, who never cries and never, poos his diaper or anything. Like, Jesus is just so perfect. And I'm sure the baby Jesus was cute and all that stuff, but he was a human. And so I'm sure he cried. I'm sure he pooped his diapers, all those things. But, we want to leave Jesus as this, right? We like this Jesus, the cute little baby Jesus. But in Luke 2:22 through 40, our passage for today, we see the baby Jesus being taken to the temple. And this prophet sees him who's waited for the Messiah all these years. And he takes the baby and he's blessing him. And he tells Mary, this child will be the fall and rise of many in Israel, which is kind of an ominous thing to say because this little cute baby grows up to be a man who challenges people. And there were many who fell and many who rose at his words. Now, when I heard that phrase, fall and rise, usually we say rise and fall in English. I thought, well, this is a weird construction. So I wanted to get my money out of seminary. So I went and looked up the Greek. Greek! And that word order is in Greek, the fall and rise. So who fell and who rose? Let's look at some of the people who fell. The religious leaders of the day. When they were confronted with Jesus, they knew this is someone that wants to break all of their rules that they've put in place to hold on to their power. And they didn't like that. We see the political leaders of the day, the Pilates, who didn't want to not be a friend of Caesar. So when they're confronted with the truth of Jesus, they choose to be a friend of power rather than seeing the truth of Jesus. The businessmen who profited off religion, Jesus comes through and kicks all their tables over in a fit of rage. And they're confronted with the truth about themselves, and they fell. The average Jew who wanted this Messiah to save their country, to take care of the Roman oppression and make Israel this nation that was amazing again. Instead, here's this guy talk about love and forgiveness and giving away everything that you are and everything that you have. And so that average guy turns away and chooses not to follow. Let's look at some of the other people who fell. The disciples, Peter denied Jesus when he was confronted with a chance to say that he was a friend of Jesus. And all the disciples have stories where they didn't understand Jesus. They didn't know what he was talking about. And that's kind of how we are, right? We often don't seem to grasp what Jesus is getting at, and it frustrates us. But the difference was the disciples rose. And here's something I've noticed about the people who rise. Let's take a look at them. Poor fishermen, these poor disciples, the lowest of the low, the stinky, sweaty laborers of society. Women who were around Jesus, who were shunned by society for not being as good as those men, they also were disciples of Jesus. A tax collector who had sold out to power and his own people, but who later gave away everything and then some. A woman whose history with men was so scandalous that people didn't want to be seen with her when she went to get water every day. These are the people who, when confronted with Jesus, they rose. And what's the difference? They had the faith to keep following. That's really the only difference. When confronted with the truth of Jesus, they accepted it and they continued to follow, even when they fell down, even when they made mistakes. They kept following. They made that choice every day. That's the only difference. And the question then becomes, are you going to be someone who falls because of Jesus? Because we all do. But are you going to stay down or are you going to rise up and keep following? Thanks for joining this morning. We will see you soon. Love you all. Me and the baby Jesus love you, and we will see you soon.